my evaluation session, which is the general evaluation, and I'll of course leave the R counter to the last after my session so that he can also take note of my time fillers. Everyone, okay? I can see some videos that are hanged. Everyone can hear me? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Oh, then I shall proceed. I'll first give what I found good about today's meeting. And I would say we started right on time, which is 7:45 p.m., which is sharp on time. Please give a round of applause to the Sergeant at Arms and Toastmaster of the evening. I also will take a good note because the time is very important. And our Toastmaster of the evening, having known about the theme of the meeting, did not utilize the time during meeting time to play the song. Instead, she played the song before the meeting, which is a good idea. Rather than having a song fill up the meeting time, she had it earlier. That is a very well planned person, I would say. So please give a round of applause to the Toastmaster of the evening. And a good thing about today's meeting is initially when we started our meeting, we had 29 attendees, which is very good. And it was even better when later on it went up to 31 attendees as what I've seen in our participation list. And of course, now it dropped down due to, I think, some of them having internet lagging and all that. But then 31 is a good number. Well done. We also experienced both pathways related projects at the same time, the traditional program, which is from the advanced manual. This is good because we get a variety of speeches, and that's what keeps our meeting exciting, and we can rouse ourselves with the meeting itself. A good range of topics in the table topic session, which is relating to the theme of today's meeting. Very well done. If I might give some suggestion on how we can improve on the meeting based on my own opinion, is as such. One most important thing is for all speakers and role players to ensure if you're not muting your microphone, avoid a direct blow from the fan, especially some of you may be using the stand fan rather than the ceiling fan. So if you're using the stand fan, it will be directly blowing to your mic, and that is what creates an unsettling noise that is heard to everyone. I heard from one of the speakers that time there was a small sound like that, probably due to this effect. Kindly take note. Second suggestion is to our Sergeant at Arms or Zoom Master. The guests who are here, not everyone sometimes can be identified as guests because the name is not there. Some of them, they even came in with a name that we did not know, like a Galaxy Note or something like that. If possible, I would prefer Zoom Master to message them personally in the waiting room and ask who is it before they can enter into the room, because in such case we have a lot of people entering but we do not know whether it's are they our guests or hackers or whatever it is. So this is what actually most of them feel the concern about online meetings and Zoom meetings and all.
Right.
Also on the spotlight and all, I felt that some of the speakers Zoom Master spotlighted, some didn't, due to the reason is when time taken for the Google form for the voting.
Yeah.
We have a function here for polling function, which is much easier to use. Hence, try to use that, which is quite accessible and very easy to use, rather than the Google form, which takes more time and multiple links for us to do. In fact, if you just click the polling and everything will be there. Attendees of the meeting will feel it much easier to enter in their polls. That's why it's taking quite some time, and also the polling is not immediately after the session. Next suggestion is for the timer. Though the timer did have some hiccups in the beginning, especially when the demonstration was done with sharing of slides, then later on she used during the speech for the background color. Background color is okay, but when you demonstrate something else and show something else, the speaker may get a little bit confused, especially during the prepared speech session. Just that one suggestion only to demonstrate what is going to be used in our meeting. That would be just great. To the backup TME, once you have passed the control to the table topic master, you do not need to come in and say anything to the audience. Let the table topic master handle, because you have already passed the control of the meeting to that role player. So that would be better. A suggestion to table topic master is that rather than wait for people to volunteer, before the meeting, you could at least get a person or two to pre-volunteer, so that at least they, or a backup volunteer, so that in case you can't get anyone, they can at least come in rather than waiting for quite some time. For the speech evaluator, the time minutes, and for the normal speech is 5 to 7 minutes. We have an allowance of 30 seconds after that time, which is okay. So we do not need to highlight on them going over time and all that. Just that one suggestion from me for one of the speech evaluators. Our title of Toastmaster is also important. When you are going to mention someone, let's say the title of that person, Leadership Development 1, Innovative Planner 1, or whatever it is quite troublesome and a mouthful to pronounce. You can just mention them as Toastmasters so-and-so rather than just calling them by name, because they are Toastmasters. If guests, yes, you can directly call them with name, or guest so-and-so would be fine. If Distinguished Toastmaster is a standard title, so you can call by that name, that title, sorry. And last but not least, I feel time is important. When we have allotted time for each speaker and each role players, we rather keep to that time, because Toastmasters, we can speak continuously, but Toastmasters also teaches us to speak within the time limit given. Of course, sometimes we get carried away a little bit, but it would be better if we can keep to the time that is given to us. With that, I'm talking about time. I'm sure I do not want to go ahead of time or over time.